What are you interested in? What would you like to know?
You know, this, I just realized that this...
There's nothing over there. It's all
crazy enough.
this. You
Okay.
like golf this, you like old stuff, you like... Depends on what you like.
I like the history. I like the unique history. And from what I can tell, there's a lot of history like everywhere here because it's a lot of stuff.
I'm actually right in the middle of reorganizing it, so it's a little bit messy right now. But we can start with this guy right here.
How much is it to organize here? I mean, do you know what they actually have here?
It's not, I don't really have it cataloged yet, but I'm right in the middle of doing that.
Okay. How many years do you plan on doing?
That's a good question. This is, for example, this was made back in 1948. This is called a flying saucer.
Yeah.
And this is the first flying disc made in plastic.
Wow.
By
Can I touch it?
Oh yeah, by Fred Morrison. Sure, it's just a frisbee. Don't squeeze it or anything.
I won't.
Yeah, don't try to see how it flexes.
It's quite solid plastic.
Yeah, I'm thinking it doesn't fly worth a hoot either. Does not fly very well. But,
1948, first
yep.
one made.
Yep, this is called a flying saucer. There aren't many of these, 2 or 3 of them in the world.
Shit.
And this guy made a lot of variations of this. Rather famously, he made a group of them called the Little Abners.
Yeah.
Where he took that flying saucer off because the label wouldn't stick.
Okay.
And he made this. It's called the Little Abner's Flying Saucer. You know.
Wow.
That was a comic strip back in the 40s and 50s in the United States. So this is actually, in a way, the first premium disc as well as a really early flying disc.
So what year are we talking about now?
1950. 49 or 50. I don't remember whether he...
And here it tells you that you can actually turn it and it sails and skips.
Skips, turns, sails. Fun for the whole family.
That's perfect.
Yep. Brian's Specialties. Huh. I've never seen that one before. I mean, I've probably seen it, just forgot it. And they come in various colors. They come in yellow and they come in red. And then that fellow Fred Morrison, he quit making those and he started making some a different disc called Pluto Platters.
Pluto Platter is famous.
Pluto
A lot
Platters.
of people think that's the first disc.
Yeah, right, but they're not the first. It's the first disc that Whammo made, because when he was selling, when Fred Morrison was selling Pluto Platters. That's all right.
Yeah.
When Fred Morrison was selling Pluto Platters, he was seen by the guys who owned Whammo, and they thought, wow, we could sell those things. Let's see if I can't find a nice Pluto platter to look at here. So here's a Pluto platter. Now Fred started selling these things, and these fly a lot better. These are the first discs that I ever threw. 1957, I still remember it.
What are you saying now? The first disc you threw was 1957?
Yes, and I was at camp in North Carolina, and I was 10 years old, and I remember it like it was yesterday. A green Pluto platter flying overhead, and I was entranced. It was the magical moment.
Yeah.
And it's been magical for me ever since.
And here you have disc golf already. Pitch game.
Pitch game, yes.
That's like horseshoe.
His wife, his wife Lou, is the one who came up with the flat flip fly straight, tilted flip curves, invent games, experiment. That was his wife that came up with that. So this is an early Whammo Pluto flying saucer, Pluto platter. And that went along for many years. They were just Pluto platters. And they made a few other discs. They made a disc called that in 1957, that was in 1955 they started making those. In 1957 they also made what was called the sailing satellite. And this is a place Sputnik. That was 1957.
That's beautiful.
The Russian space program got started in '57.
You know what? This reminds me of of a disc that I've been throwing pretty good MTA with when it's very, very windy, and I think it was frisbee by the Masters or something, but this was way, way behind it. That is this little lift on top.
Cupola.
Yeah, you can tell it's a totally different disc.
These are good discs. These are quite good discs.
I bet.
And these were thrown for a while.
Yeah.
And they come in different colors, you know.
Yeah.
And here's a blue one. These are great discs.
Nice.
These sailing satellites. And that went along for a while until Ed Hedrick.
And it says, is it $1?
That's what it says, $1.
Ah.
This one says $100 because I bought it from somebody back in the 70s.
So in the 70s it cost $100.
Yeah, now it's worth thousands. And then a fellow by the name of Ed Hedrick came along, and he invented what's called the Pro, the professional model, back in '64. This was their first departure from the Pluto platter.
This isn't too far away from a Guts disc.
That's very similar to a Guts disc. A Guts disc is a Pro. And this is the disc that I threw 112 yards back in 1974. The first person to throw over 300 feet, which probably doesn't mean much to a European because you don't have the feet, but in the meters, you do meters instead. But well, this is not just an example of a Pro. This is the first Pro. I got this out of the display case at Whammo in 1973. Yeah. He gave me the first Pro. So this is a real piece of history right here.
Wow.
You know, for a long time I've had the idea that 50,000 years ago, 2,000 generations or whatever, we were barely getting going. We're just learning to talk, we're making grunts, we're cooperating, and the guys who could pick up a rock and hit the rabbit, because you weren't fast enough to catch the rabbit, the guys who could hit the rabbit and got the meat got the women.
Yes.
So you and I and all of us are direct descendants of people who had the eye-hand coordination.
I think so too.
And those who did not have the eye-hand coordination, they didn't get the women. So all of us, we have neural circuits. Our brain is wired to connect us with the world out there.
So are you saying that the best accuracy players get the most women?
No, what I'm saying is that all of us current human stock have wiring in our brains that is specialized to be very present and to connect where we are with the outside world. As a matter of fact, there's almost an idea I've had before that the origins of consciousness, the way that we became awake, the way we became conscious, is through interacting with the world like that, because now there's the idea that there is an I here that can affect the world over there. I can change the world. There is an I, a real difference between what's going on and I am. There's an I. You know what I mean? That's a very basic concept.
Yeah, it is.
And you can make a case that throwing things was beginnings of modern man, of consciousness, of us being aware. Anyhow, so every time you play frisbee, you are participating in a very old neural dance.
Absolutely. But tell me, what year did you say you threw this for distance? 108 grams.
I threw this in 1974, 336 feet, and it was the first time that a disc was thrown over 300 feet.
So what sort of competitions existed in 1974?
Well, here's the thing. When I came on the scene in 1973, there was no scene.
Exactly.
No tournaments. There's a Guts tournament in the Upper Peninsula.
Guts was the first game that really got
Yes.
recognized as competitive.
In the 70s, when the Pluto Platters came out, a couple of guys, some brothers, up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, the Healy brothers, had a July 4th picnic where they would throw at each other. And that kept going. And by the time I came on the scene in 1973, all there was that Guts tournament. No other tournaments. Nothing. And I went to that Guts tournament in Upper Peninsula, and I thought, and I met a bunch of people. Ed Hedrick, Victor Malafronte, Roger Barrett. I met all these guys from Berkeley, and I got along with them really well. And I thought, because I've been playing now, I've been playing since 1957, since camp, and I didn't know there was anybody else doing anything. And so I went to that tournament and met all those guys, and then I came back out to California to go to a tournament. They decided to have a tournament in Berkeley called the Berkeley Big Games Tournament. The Big Frisbee Group, Berkeley Frisbee Group Big Games Tournament in November of '73. And it was in Sproul Plaza, where Berkeley is in Berkeley, California. It was funny because there were two events, like a kind of a trick throw and a distance. And to win distance, it was who could throw. You're in a plaza with buildings all around, and who could throw the highest up the building. You had to hit
the wall.
Whoever could hit the highest up the building won it. And so I won that.
That's what we do with snowballs in Norway, you know.
And this fellow I was hanging out with, one of the Berkeley guys, a guy named Roger Barrett, I said, we need more of this. This is something, this is an idea whose time has come. This should be everywhere. We should, no one's doing this. Why isn't this a sport? And he gave me a list of a bunch of different people that he knew of who were Frisbee players. Little enclaves, little pods. So I went and visited those pods. My roommate, a guy named Baudet, his name was Tom Baudet, who's my roommate now, he was one of those guys. He worked at Whammo in the 60s. And I met Spider Wills and John Mortimer and these guys and Stork. I went around and decided that I was going to visit all of the different Frisbee pods. So I went to Chicago and I went to see Stork. And
so you're a true Frisbee missionary.
Well, the thing is that if I actually did anything, I mean, I could throw hard and all that sort of thing, but my contribution might have been that I connected the dots in such a way as to convince the powers that be at Whammo, Ed Hedrick, that Frisbee is a sport and we should try to make it a sport. Now, it's not easy to convince someone of this when they already think that it's not a sport. They think that the smart thing is, we tried to make it a sport back in 1968. We had a Rose Bowl and nobody came. They tried to do that.
They did?
Nobody came.
I never heard about that.
Jay Shelton, really good guy, won the overall, but there was nobody there. Just the Whammo reps. And so when I came along in '73, the smart people realized that Frisbee's not a sport. Too bad. It's a nice thing.
But it convinced them though.
Somehow, convincing people, the hard thing, you know, there's a movie Inception. The movie Inception is about convincing someone that something is true and making them think it's their idea. That's the hard thing to do. And the trick was to convince Hedrick that Frisbee actually is a sport instead of just a toy. And we did it.
Well, Ed Hedrick got deep into it afterwards.
He did. Having the Rose Bowl in '74, and then the Harlem Globetrotters tour that Victor and I did, that I set up. In the Rose Bowl, there were two events. There was this fancy trick throw and catch, a thing called the world-class test. It was a variation of the master test that Ed Hedrick had set up as part of the International Frisbee Association.
And a master test, that's like doing a whole lot of various...
Can you do catch behind the back? Can you throw to the right to left? Can you left to right? Can you throw skips? Can you... A bunch of stuff to show that you have control of the disc. If you were a master. Well, the world-class test was a more complicated version of that. And the other event was distance. Well, I had gotten this Harlem Globetrotters gig starting in October, and we had the World Championship. I came up with a list. These are all the people. You invite them and pay their way, they will come, and we will have a big deal. And Hedrick did it. And so Victor won the accuracy. I mean, he won the world-class test, and I won the distance. So it was perfect. It was a perfect storm. The two world champions went out on tour and went around the country, 200 cities in 180 days, and we showed millions of people
with the Harlem Globetrotters
that frisbee is a sport. And it took off from there. It just needed to achieve critical mass, and it achieved it.
I get a grip from this story.
That's actually what happened. And that same fellow who gave me a list of the different pods, Roger Barrett, he had a collection of about 200 frisbees, different discs.
Wow.
He convinced me that collecting frisbees was a good thing to do,
okay,
and then sold me his collection that has turned into an insane number of 30,000 discs in this garage that just goes... That just is, it's everywhere. It's out of control.
It's out of control.
It's out of control. But I got a lot of them. I don't even know what all to show you because there's so many. This is actually an Innova Pulsar.
It is.
The ones they're using for the MLU.
Some beautiful disc.
MLU, they're using those. A variation on Ultrastar, which is really just a variation on a lid. You know. The guy Baudet I was talking about, he makes a whole lot of really interesting designs that when you spin them, they do different things.
Do you have any frisbees from Norway here?
I do have a bunch of frisbees from Norway.
Do you?
But unfortunately, they're kind of tough to get at. It's too bad.
Are you sure they're from Norway?
Yeah, I've got, these are all foreign over here.
Oh, is there? Oh, so that's a foreign section.
Yeah, that's a foreign section. I got all kinds of discs. I should see Norway.
I know something you don't have.
What? Well, first of all, my collection stops at 1981. I don't collect past 1981.
No.
But in the, these are all minis. In the early 70s.
Alt er liksom fra før 81. Det er jo galt selv. Oh, I see some goodies here.
In the early 70s, there was a time when we were touring with the Globetrotters, and it was Madison Square Garden. Really good gig. We had been playing 100 days and we were tight. And we go out that night and I throw Victor runs down there and I throw this big, huge throw way up around the air conditioners in Madison Square Garden and comes down over 25,000 people, swish through the basket. Victor's standing there and catches it. 25,000 people went to their feet. These are New Yorkers who've seen everything. What a rush. What a rush that was. Well,
because you hit the basket every time you threw.
Well, we had a thing where we would throw baskets from the other foul line every night, but this was just luck. It was just luck. But that happened to be a time, it was the first time Hedrick saw us. And Stork, all those people, the first time they saw us. So after that Globetrotter gig, Hedrick and I went to the park. Central Park. It's February. It's 30. And we started playing catch with a whammo, with a pro. And he's telling me, it doesn't matter how far the disc goes as long as everyone who's competing uses the same disc. It doesn't matter how far. And I got him to throw a disc that flew farther.
Okay.
It's called a CPI.
Yeah.
The CPI, here's a CPI right here. This flies farther than a pro, okay? This went farther. And I got him to play catch at 40 yards instead of 25 yards.
Sweet.
And all of a sudden he said, okay.
Yeah.
The next time I see you,
Yeah.
I'm going to make a better disc.
Yeah.
And he came up with the G series. Oh. Here's an early G series. The very first ones had my name on them and Victor's name on them. Beautiful. This is called a world class. This is a really nice disc.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, these are nice. But anyhow, he came up with the G series, and we're off and running.
Yeah. But Kirkland, from what I know, I gotta show you. You are a guru to the sport.
A guru.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's why you need a guru.
I do need a guru.
Even though you don't collect it, you can use it.
These are nice.
They are made for use as well, you know.
You know, you could probably flick one of these things right with your finger. You could just kind of go.
Oh, I'm sure you can.
Nice.
And also, you know, you need a bigger version.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
And
very nice.
And it's meant for use.
Excellent.
Yeah.
These are obviously aviars. No bead aviars. Or small bead? No. Small bead.
It's a no bead.
It's a no. Ooh, just what I like.
I
like the putt with these. Yeah. Very nice.
Use it.
I will use it.
And you know, it shows you this barcode. Or not the barcode, but this, what's that called again?
What is that called? You see these a lot now. It's a digital...
Huh?
QR
code.
QR code?
Yes.
That's a new thing.
It will show you all the courses in Norway.
Really?
Yes.
Very nice.
And in Norway, we have so many beautiful disc golf girls that would really like to meet you.
Very nice.
And they're looking forward to see you.
I'm looking forward to seeing them. These
this
are beautiful
discs. This is an open invitation from all the girls and from Espen and I.
You know, I love Sidewinders.
Yeah.
Good disc. Unfortunately, this is too good of a disc to use.
Well, that's your choice.
No,
that's your choice.
These are going to go over here with all of my my special kinds of prototype. This is beautiful.
It is.
Very nice.
I needed to sign. I have some other gurus as well that I brought for you to sign.
Excellent. I'll be glad to
share out for gifts and awards.
Here's a whole box of different types of DDC discs.
Yeah, you're collecting that as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But these are new ones. This is for like the first time Tony and Jim Schmoll won, right?
Which was '92.
Which was it '92?
Yeah. I've got every DDC, all the different types of DDCs. I have 2 of each.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And of course 2 of each makes sense.
Of course, you need 2.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful.
So that's a little introduction to the world of discs.
It's beautiful.
You know, there's another whole specialty.
Yeah.
To discs. I have a specialty called discs that say frisbee on them that were not made by Whammo.
Ah, funny.
Whole different types of discs. Like that one says frisbee.
And it's Whammo behind. Yeah.
Well, what happened, what Whammo used to do is, if someone used the word frisbee, then they would buy the mold from those people.
Okay.
And then they would use the mold.
Okay.
Right.
Clever thing.
Here's a Whammo flying saucer that's a premium.
Yeah.
A very early premium. Free. Top Job. Top Job was a type of soda. It was a type of soda.
Okay.
Here is an interstellar Gemini spacecraft, a very, very early, I think, either Japanese or Chinese from the 60s. The earliest type. These are so cool looking. This is a Pluto platter knockoff. Instead of having the planets around the edge, they say space saucer.
Yeah.
That's the only one known.
Huh.
These are what you're looking at here. This is a speed.
I'm looking at everything. These are
speedies. Here is a Here's a Zolar, a flying saucer from the 50s.
Yeah.
These are, if there were to be a fire, and I could only grab 25 discs,
Yeah.
these are in that 25.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. These are serious. Yeah, these are all really cool things. I mean, if you're a frisbee collector, you know. If you're not a frisbee collector, these are sort of silly. Just
I don't know.
more pieces of plastic.
I don't really collect, but you know, it's. I love the craziness of this.
Midnight Flyers.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't a Midnight Flyer. This is a p.g.a. Squall with Midnight Flyer on it. They're bringing back Midnight Flyers again, which was the first Moonlighter heavy disc that Hedrick started putting out, trying to push his golf agenda.
Okay.
I don't even collect golf discs, but these boxes are full of golf discs.
Yeah.
But I don't collect them, you understand?
Yeah, I totally understand.
Somebody please stop me. Anybody.
I don't know. I don't know who can help you with this.
I got too many discs.
You need some serious help here.
Yeah, I do need. I don't even know where to start. But anyhow, I've given you sort of a look at the.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. 1977 Western Ultimate Frisbee Championship.
That's such a nice disc. Isn't that a pretty disc?
80 mold.
Yeah. 80 molds. So nice.
It is a beautiful disc.
Beautiful discs.
So 1977 Ultimate. So you played all events. You played Ultimate. You played Guts.
I started the MIT team in 1975 and was an All-American. In the old days, everyone did everything.
Yeah.
You played frisbee.
Yeah.
Freestyle, distance, golf.
So you started in 1957.
I started playing when I was 10, 1957. By the time I came on to meeting the people who already sort of knew each other, I'd been playing for 16 years. So I couldn't believe there wasn't a bigger thing going on. I can't believe that I was missing it, whatever there was going on. I can't believe I wasn't there in 68. I would have been right there. But
and you're still playing.
Oh, I still play every day.
Yeah.
Gotta play.
Yeah.
It's that, like I was saying, we're born to throw things. We're born to be present, to connect with the rest of the world. Sometimes I think that the experience of time is like a very thin sliver moving from the past to the future. And you've got all of your memories, and you've got all of your predictions, the memories of the past. We have books, and we have a big sense of the past. It goes now billions of years. We understand the past very well. And we make a lot of very accurate predictions. And sometimes, I always heard the story that adults spend most of their time thinking about the future. And old people, of which I'm soon to be a member of, but not yet, spend most of their time thinking about the past.
I don't know. I think you're too much a kid to...
But the kids spend most of their time in the present. And so my thinking is that there's this thin sliver of time moving from the past to the future, but when you throw a frisbee or a bowling ball or hit a golf ball or kick a soccer ball at someone or play catch with anything, even when you're making love, you are remembering what you've done before, so you've got some past, and you are thinking about what you're going to do in the future, but you take that thin sliver of the present and you make it bigger. Exactly. You've got a little bit of the past and a little bit of the projection of the future, and now you have this dynamic present that's bigger. And I like to spend time there. That's why I play frisbee. That's the joy of frisbee. Not winning tournaments, not people saying how good you are.
I can tell you plan to extend your collections as well.
Yeah.
I talked to some other guys that knows you very well. Stork, for
Stork,
example.
yeah, one of the great guys in frisbee.
Yeah.
Someone who's been playing as long as I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he told me something interesting, that thanks to you, they got all the rules quicker into the sport.
If there was a hole in the rules, I would take advantage of it. Oh, you're allowing this, huh? Okay. Yeah, that is true. It's good to have someone who realizes where the holes are.
Yeah.
Like in single DDC.
And this was only cred too, you know? Like in single DDC, what happened?
Somebody had to do it.
Yeah.
Like in DDC in the beginning, it was just singles.
Yeah.
Like there was a big tournament back in '74 where Jim Palmieri said, we're going to give away a car.
Okay.
And the car is going to go to the person who has the most number of points from 2 events,
okay.
Golf and DDC, a new game. So,
this is interesting, I'll just tell you, because we heard that story from another guy. We heard it from Stork.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're going into.
Right.
You know, but I kind of I know a little bit about it anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is 1974, and it's Rochester, New York, and Jim Palmieri, a great guy, the guy who invented DDC.
Yeah.
Wonderful thing to do.
Yeah.
And it was only singles then. And the tournament was a Saturday and Sunday, and you played golf, 2 rounds of golf, and then DDC.
Was this within? You didn't have regular golf holes then?
Oh no, this was the ground baskets.
Yeah, ground baskets.
And they're very nice.
Yeah.
You could throw vertical shots. But you had to learn how to do it. And it's funny because we all have our priorities. Dan Roddick, the Stork, he showed up in Rochester on Thursday and learned how to putt. Except for him, it was lefty.
Yeah.
He learned how to putt. I, on the other hand, was chasing a woman and was trying to, yeah, I just found that the other day. That's a weird thing. It's even cracked. I was basically trying to get laid, and so I didn't show up until Friday night.
Okay.
Didn't know how to putt.
Okay.
It took me 1 round to figure it out. So Saturday, Stork got a big lead on me because he knew how to. He was a good golfer, but he knew how to putt. Sunday, I figured it out.
Yeah.
I had the low round.
Yeah.
I went from back in the pack,
Yeah.
and I ended up getting 3rd. I tied for 3rd in golf
Okay.
after I figured it out.
Okay.
2 strokes back.
Yeah.
Stork won, 1 stroke back was 2nd.
Yeah.
1 more stroke back, I tied for 3rd.
Right.
I should have gotten there earlier.
Yeah, you should have.
I didn't figure it out, so he was smart.
Okay.
In DDC, nobody knew how to do it until Sunday.
Yeah.
We all got exposed at the same time.
Oh, so you learn the rule the same day, and then you're gonna play the
Right.
game.
And then I won the DDC.
Ah.
So I won DDC and tied for 3rd in golf.
Yeah.
Stork won golf
Yeah.
and got 3rd outright in
Ouch.
DDC.
Yeah.
So by a half a point,
Yeah.
he won the car.
Yeah.
A half a point.
That's awesome. Yeah.
The next
Well, it's
year,
terrible for you though.
yeah.
You probably learned what to do on Fridays, right?
if I had been trying to get laid, who knows what would have happened. But the next year in '75, I won bicycle.
Yeah.
I won in '76.
Bicycle.
Won in '76, bicycle.
Okay.
Won in '77, bicycle. But Stork was smart. He got there early and figured it out.
But for some reason, that's also something I heard from other guys. You know, somebody else came up with that putt.
The vertical putt.
Yeah, that worked on that time. And,
Stork saw somebody do it, but I didn't figure it out until about halfway through the. I'm trying to throw them in, and then I saw somebody. I saw somebody doing like this, and I said, "Oh,
but then
that's the smart way to do it."
Is that why you?
Because you
since then, you did a lot of other throws, though. Because there wasn't that many throws around. I mean, well, at a certain time somebody came up with, hey, I can do a sidearm, I can do a staker, I can do a scuba.
That was way late. In the early days, when I came on the scene, for example, in 1973, I only had 3 throws.
Oh yeah?
I could throw a backhand farther than anybody.
Yeah.
I could throw an overhand wrist flip.
Okay.
And I could throw a sidearm.
Mm.
And I could throw a left-handed backhand.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to that big international frisbee tournament, they called it, in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan in '73. And I came back from that tournament, and I was going to MIT at the time. Yeah. And I came back from that tournament and I said, I've got to generate some interest in this sport. Yeah. So I called up a national newspaper. They were called the Christian Science Monitor. Okay. They was a national newspaper. And I said, I'm an MIT student and I'm the longest ambidextrous distance champion. I can throw 120 yards right-handed and 90 yards left-handed. Yeah. And they did a big article on me. Sweet. There's a kid at MIT doing things with grandma's pie plates that you wouldn't believe. And that was the first big national news thing. And I was trying to generate some interest. And it was interesting because the guy who owned, there was a company who made some frisbees called wiffles. You ever seen a wiffle ball? The ball you can hit with a bat, they don't go very far. They're plastic and they're they don't go very far. You can hit them and you can play in a short distance. And he got a hold of me and he gave me a frisbee pie tin. And I took that pie tin out to California and I went and visited Hedrick in the fall of '73 after that Berkeley Big Games tournament, and I gave him the pie tin. They'd never seen a pie tin before. So it got me in with Hedrick early on. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But since then, there's a lot of new throws.
So many throws. Like we're talking about double disc court. When we play double disc court, there are so many throws that you can use. Mostly in ultimate, mostly all people are doing is throwing forehands, backhands, and then little variations where they do the little top, the 2-hand finger, or they'll take this forehand, throw it upside down over here. They call it a scuba, which, did you know that?
Yeah, it's not a scuba.
Yeah, it's not a scuba.
We know that.
But all those people calling it a scuba, I got news for you. Yeah. This is a scuba.
Exactly.
Just the fact that this is a scuba, about 20 people know, but thousands of people know that this is a scuba. Yeah. Well, there's so many more throws you can use in double disc court, and the one that I always liked is called a catapult. The problem with a hook thumb is you've only got a thumb in the rim, so it's hard to get a lot of spin. Yeah. But when you add the other fingers, now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers. Yeah. Now you can put a lot of spin, and you've got that right down the eye line.
That's your specialty.
Yeah. If you broke the court up, it's a 13 meters by 13 meters. So there are 169 1-by-1 meter squares in the court. If you break it up and say, okay, I want you to hit number 122, I can hit it. Hit any number, I can hit it, because it's not so fast, but it's very accurate because it's right down the eye line. Exactly. Right here. Very accurate. It's the most accurate.
Also, you have a lot of shit, and we call it shit sometimes.
Yeah.
You have a wet blanket, you have a stake, offside.
Well, there's a whole series of throws that I call fractals. Okay. And a fractal is sort of like when you see cigarette smoke in a calm room and it goes real smooth and then it breaks. Yeah. Well, I like to throw throws that have a little bit of spin that flies smooth,
about
and then
30 meters if you're on the front line,
right? Yeah. And then they run out of spin and they go like this.
Yeah, for the last
same thing as a cigarette.
5 meters.
Right. Yeah. So it looks like it's going over your head, going out, and then it blows up and falls down. You can do that with
like
this.
You shot it with a shotgun.
Right. You can throw it with this grip, the overhand, except it's not in the rim. It's here, and you go like this, and you keep it in this plane that the forearm makes. And it goes. Or you can do the same thing
with a
wet blanket.
Wet blanket.
Now, the staker is the same idea where you're taking this hook thumb grip like I use for this, and you uncock your wrist, uncock it. You don't want spin.
Exactly.
And now you throw it like a backhand, and it goes, And that's the one that I got you and Harvey with in 2001. I was really at it in that tournament. It looks like you. I remember you getting out of the way. You said, "That's rolling out," and just flipped over and didn't go anywhere.
I hate that one.
Yeah. Well, like I hate your Scoob and Thumber. So there are lots of cool throws, but I really like the fractals. Fractals are nice throws.
You know what I also do? What I like is to throw it from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Turns out flat again.
I have another one that I call the back flip, where I just hold very lightly like this, and then I throw like this, and it just goes, flips over.
That's also nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's another version where you take that same grip, instead of throwing it like this, you throw it like this. Conrad does that. Yeah. Actually, Stokely came up with that.
Oh, yeah?
It's called the glazed donut.
Glazed donut.
Glazed donut.
Oh, that's a new name for
me.
me.
And he goes like this. He throws it like this, and it goes right side up. The glazed donut.
I've seen the throw, but I never heard of the name for that one.
The glazed donut and the back flip.
Yeah.
No, you know what I call it? The back flip. No, the back flip. The back flip. No, the back. No, what do I call that? I have to ask Cody. What do I call it? The back flip is a different shot. I came up with another throw that's like a staker. Yeah. Except it's for when you're throwing into the wind. Now a staker doesn't have enough spin on it, so instead of doing a staker, I take a backhand grip like this, and I throw it like this, and it's like a staker, but it's much more powerful.
It's actually quite useful as a dump as well.
Yes,
but that's
yes,
a
very good,
shot.
but a lot of spin.
Yeah.
So it's for throwing into the wind. So a staker sometimes, you know, it doesn't put as much spin on it, and you can't throw it as fast. This backflip, you can really throw hard. I'm trying to remember what I call this. You throw it like this, and it kind of goes like that, and it stands up.
But what are the throws useful for? We know the game DDC.
DDC.
Golf.
You don't use those in golf.
You don't.
No. Golf pretty much comes down to forehands, backhands,
other than DDC,
and rollers.
what's it used for? Impressing girls, I
Dumps.
bet. Dumps. But still DDC. Or
DDC.
Yeah.
DDC.
Only
DDC.
Of DDC.
Nothing.
Impressing girls?
Nothing. I'm open to that.
Well, I mean, I'm looking for other ways of. The old man knows how to jam.
Yeah, I got a couple of moves still.
That's old school moves. Really cool old school.
Against the skin.
Moves.
Against the skin stuff.
He only, you know, I only know one man in the world who knows them. Might be a couple of others, but.
Donnie Rhodes and Joey.
Okay.
Joey knows them.
Well, Joey knows all.
Joey's the king. But I think of DDC as the ultimate. I use the word ultimate. It's the best frisbee game. DDC is the game that's the hardest to learn, but has the most elements of frisbee. It has all elements: catching, throwing, timing, concentration. Everything. DDC has everything.
I also think that golfers has a lot to learn from DDC, because you have to read the wind at all time. You have to be aware of how much Z's or spin you give the frisbee, and you have to be, you know, do you go crosswind? Where is the disc going to meet the wind? How's the disc going to turn? It's just more sensitive for wind. But it's the same thing with the golf disc. It's just not as sensitive.
Yeah, as I said earlier. When we began playing in the early days, everyone did everything. Yeah. There were no specialists. And the very best golfers, like I said, Climo, and especially the early guys, you know, Crazy John Brooks, they could do everything.
Oh, they can do
everything.
They know how to
So
jam,
the more frisbee you understand, the better you are at controlling a disc.
I've been jamming with Climo, and he knows his scarecrow.
Oh, no,
he knows his guidance. He's got big air, you know.
I just saw Climo do. He was playing ball golf in North Carolina at Pinehurst, and he did a whole YouTube thing where he's doing some tricks and he's hitting golf balls, and he and Barry Schultz are throwing discs on a hole. Yeah, Climo's great. Yeah. He's the king. He's the king of golf.
Yeah.
Well, I hope this has been a good interview for you guys.
You know, awesome. I'll show you another thing, because we look at you as a guru.
I love this guru thing. This is a
and
great idea.
What's a good trick with this one?
What?
You see the basket?
Yeah. Oh, nice.
It's gonna be on every backhand righty throw, you know? Because you see,
right.
That's where you get the picture.
That's right. That's where it is.
That's where it is.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
This is beautiful stuff.
That's for you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for the sport for all the years. You know, you are a true guru.
I'm just glad that it's still going, because, as I said earlier, there was nothing, and it amazes me that there was nothing, and I'm just glad that it's still going, and it seems to be going strong.
Well, I can tell you in Norway, it's been crazy for the last few years. We're around 100 courses now. I mean, we're about 5 million people, and there's it's a lot of interest for building new courses. When I started, it was 4 courses. Okay, it's a long time since I started as well, even though I only played half the years that you have. And then it took a long time. We got 5, 6, 7, 10 courses, 12 courses, 40, 60, 100, you know? When you hit a certain point, it just escalates. That's where we're at now. You
know, when we were touring with the Globetrotters, we had this big Sports Illustrated article.
Yeah.
And after the Sports Illustrated article, I got a lot of letters from folks saying, why are you letting Joe Sixpack and Harriet Housewife in on Frisbee?
Yeah.
We had it, only the people who were naturally drawn to Frisbee should be playing Frisbee. And I thought, no, the world needs more Frisbee. The way that you think when you play Frisbee, the way that your attitude is, because Frisbees fly, they're not like balls, they're not predictable. They're very unusual, and the place you go in your head, the way that you can become part of that dynamic present, the world needs more of that. So I don't think that it was a bad idea to popularize it. I think it was sort of a conscious act of evolution.
I think you did the right thing.
Yeah, I'm glad I did. Well, I was not so much trying to do that as I was just following the joy and the bliss and, seeing where it led. As most people that end up doing anything, they're just doing it because they're enjoying it.
Exactly. And that's the meaning to it. That's the meaning to sport.
That's true. I'm most alive when I'm playing Frisbee.
Yeah. I can tell. Well, I mean, you seem alive anyway. All the time.
All right. Well, I hope you guys had a...
Thanks a lot. Yeah. Awesome.
My pleasure.
Awesome.